So today I want to talk about formal versus self-education, and it's not as simple as one being good and the other being bad because the truth is they both have their own benefits. Now, formal education is a great foundation and a springboard where you find your niche, then you find the thing that you want to do well in and you want to excel in. Now, everybody needs to know at least the basics from formal education like math, science, history, the common core. But just know that it can only take you so far because it's the bare minimum. That's the basics. Now, on the other hand, self-education. So that means having your own experiences, doing your own research in your chosen field with all the results coming back to you. See, that can propel you to where you really want to be. Simply put, formal education will make you a living, but self-education is gonna make you a fortune. And today, we're gonna take a look at why. Now before we get started, just a quick little reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see, and also click that subscribe button and that bell to get notified on my latest videos, just like this one. But for now, let's get back into formal education versus self-education. So first off, what do we even mean when we're talking about formal education? Well, we're talking about learning in institutions. So starting at elementary school and then high school and then ending up in college and maybe staying there for a while. There's a myth here that if you're smart, you'll go to college. Now, and then you graduate college. Now, to a certain extent, that's true. But except for the last part, if you're smart, you'll go to college. If you're really smart, you'll get to a really good college. You see, that part is true. But you're still a kid then, and testing and exams are the best way to see if you're smart. So most successful people, yes, they did go to college, but there's also a small handful of super successful people who didn't graduate. They go to college, but they didn't graduate. Now, why? Well, because they were educating themselves and they realized that the ideas that they had in their head held way more weight and it had way more potential than what they were being taught at college. You see, personally, myself, I was never good at school. I did the bare minimum, aiming for C's and B's. I took a leap of faith and I dropped out of college and I started teaching myself online marketing. I teaching myself how to be a freelance digital marketer with free content, completely free. Well, I did buy a few courses, but I found content on YouTube, on Google, just the internet, reading books. You see some books behind me over there. And I learned the basics of online marketing from there. But enough about me. Let's talk about 3 successful people that you might have heard of. I'm pretty sure you've heard of them. You see, this is true for 3 of the most famous dropouts and some of the most famous people, period. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg, all of which never graduated, but that it didn't seem to hold them back too much. You see, if we judge people, their intelligence based on a degree, then these 3 people wouldn't be as significant as they are today. But if you were the boss and you had the opportunity to hire one of these titans to be on your team, you certainly would not miss the chance to and hire them in a heartbeat. Basically, they all realized that the products that they were working on had a huge potential, and they took a leap of faith to educate themselves in the fields, and surprise, surprise, they all nailed it. And with the exception of Mark Zuckerberg, this was before the internet really took off. Now we have so much knowledge that we don't even know what to do with them.
Knowledge.
But starting businesses, it's not as hard as you think now with all the free information here today. And just actually not only just starting businesses, but like doing anything. If you are interested in you want to learn a new language, there's courses online. You want to learn how to draw, you want to do anything. Information is out there on the internet and you can find them. You see, it's hard to justify a formal higher education that costs average around $20,000 when there's just so much material online to educate yourself with. You see, graduates will often find that they learn more from books and YouTube videos and in podcasts than they did when they were in college. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't pay attention in class. After like 8th period, I go home, hop on YouTube, I search in, like how to do this pre-calc equation, and I'll always find that find like free video series from Khan Academy, and those videos will always save me. Also, chances are that the college degree wasn't something that people didn't even want to do because they made the decision when they were too young to know actually what they really wanted to do with themselves. It's been proven that you're more likely to learn things on subjects that you feel passionate about. So self-learning by definition is likely to be on those subjects and is more likely to stick in your head. Wouldn't you agree? You see, formal education teaches you how to pass exams. Self-education teaches you how to think. It gives you the tool that you need to practically go out into the world and do something well. Let's say you want to start a business. Do you look inside your old textbooks to figure out how to make it happen? No, not today at least. Today, you go on Google, you Google it, you watch some YouTube videos, but you can listen to podcasts and you find others who's done similar things, take their advice because they've done the things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You see, what the internet has done has opened up all the secrets that up until recently they were all locked away with successful people. Or they write it in books, but books aren't as popular as video content today. So those successful people now have channels dedicated to telling you how to be successful. See, a formal education doesn't have that aspirational quality to it. You see, the end goal is the next test or a piece of coursework, and success is a grade. Self-education leads to tangible rewards. You study something you're passionate about off your own back because you want to know how something works, and you're so much more likely to remember it because you asked the question in the first place. Somebody didn't just put it in front of you and tell you the answer. This is why self-education can make you a fortune, because you've chosen to go at it alone and follow what you want to do and learn as much as you can about it. You've taken your own path, which means you're not following the herd. When the guys I spoke about earlier dropped out of college, yes, they were disadvantaged because they didn't have a degree to their name, but they also had a massive advantage because they didn't have a degree to their name. They stood out from the crowd because they actually had a product that people wanted in the pipeline.
When I visited a school and they had a whole classroom full of Apple IIs, and I saw these 3rd and 4th graders growing up completely different than I grew up because of this machine. What hit me about it was that here was this machine that a very few people designed, about 4 in the case of the Apple II. And then they gave it to some people that didn't know how to design it, but they knew how to make it, to manufacture it. They could make a whole bunch of them. They gave it to some people that didn't know how to design it or manufacture it, but they knew how to distribute it. And they gave it to some people that didn't know how to design it or manufacture it or distribute it, but they knew how to write software for it. And gradually this sort of inverse pyramid grew. And when it finally got into the hands of a lot of people, it blossomed out of this tiny little seed. And it all started with just an idea. And that's an incredible feeling, to know it can be done, to know that you can plant something in the world and it'll grow and change the world.
The fact that they had genuine passion in the thing that they were promoting, whether it was Windows, Facebook, or Apple, these guys genuinely believed that their idea was going to make the world a better place and people needed it. They educated themselves in the best way of doing this and navigated through a difficult business world to get these products to the market. Now, one name we haven't mentioned yet is Richard Branson. The British entrepreneur was famously dyslexic and didn't receive a formal education until, beyond 16 years old. His academic performance was poor, and his headmaster told him that he would end up in prison or become a millionaire. Thankfully for him, the second one came true, but the headmaster was wrong because he ended up a billionaire. Big B's. Now, Branson went from squatting in London to owning a business empire. When choosing his CEOs to guide his business endeavors, he doesn't look at education. Instead, he looks at 3 things. 1, are they disruptive? 2, do they know how to have fun? And 3, are they not afraid of taking a risk? Now, all 3 of these thoughts are pretty much the devil in formal education, but Branson actively seeks them out. The billionaire has explained in the past that children are taught to pass exams rather than to understand concepts and expand their mind. And that quote, it hits home run for me at least. And according to him, to prepare students to become the next business leaders, they must fully be equipped with the power of the knowledge. Now, this knowledge doesn't come from textbooks, but it comes from actually doing things. Branson dropped out of school at 16, started a magazine, made a lot of mistakes, and he's a billionaire, a big B, billionaire. So final takeaways. Self-education will set you up for what you need to know in the real world. Now, let you learn about what you're passionate about, so you'll learn it for the long term, and will save you thousands of dollars, as well as giving you the tool to earn thousands of dollars. Now, formal education is outdated and beyond the basics hasn't kept up with a world that's constantly changing and making information available to almost everyone. The knowledge. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Look, I know you just spent 10 minutes here watching this video, and I don't want to leave you hanging around with all this information that we just talked about, not knowing what to do with this. So look, I prepared a brand new guidebook called The Ultimate Guide for Becoming a Freelance Digital Marketer. And inside contains 3 key elements to earning high-ticket commissions, marketing someone else's products. So if you've always wanted to start an online business, but you are not ready for a huge commitment yet, then head down there to the descriptions and grab a free copy of this ebook. It's completely free and it can only help you. Worst case is you download it and you don't read it. But what about the best case? Maybe it'll spark up a fire in you that you didn't even know you had. So go check it out. Start self-educating yourself today, and I'll see you in the next video. The knowledge.